folks. Welcome to the Prepared Homestead. This is Travis. Thank you all for stopping by to watch. The only thing necessary for the triumph of evil is for good men to do nothing. The words that I want to say to you today, I just want you to know that they are primarily directed at myself. This is not me necessarily preaching to everyone, but really just expressing my feelings and what I need to also be doing in my life and sharing it with you. It's no secret that we live in a corrupt world. The corruption and the evil in this world are very apparent, and they're growing more and more each day. Everything from, losing our personal individual freedoms to financial crisis and global crises across the planet between different countries and a globalist takeover, at least an attempt at that. The increase of technology that, while on the surface may appear to be good and do good things, could very well become corrupted and be used for evil. More and more people losing their jobs. But it's even more than that. I mean, these are things that we talk about all the time on here, that we prepare for. But there's a lot of things that are happening that we don't talk about as much. And that is the heart of who we are as a people. The moral fabric of who we are seems to be fading away. It seems to be being questioned as to what that is. What is integrity? What is morality? What is honor? And not only are these things being questioned, but they're being looked upon anymore as something of a thing to shun or to not be like. I talk often on this channel about having a warrior mindset. And I'm sure that most of you probably assume that I'm talking about from a combat or a survival scenario, to be able to push through some bad situation because you have developed a warrior mindset. And that is in part true. But I also mean a warrior mindset because a true warrior is someone of integrity, someone of good moral character, someone of honor, or that seeks honor. That is what a true warrior should be. And regardless of your age, regardless of your skills and ability, regardless of whether you're man or woman, this warrior mindset, in my opinion, is really one of the things that's necessary for us to triumph over this evil. No matter how much we prepare, no matter how much we become self-sufficient, no matter how much gear and stuff that we put away, if we have not won the battle in our homes and in our own lives and our own hearts, then what are we truly saving ourselves from? There's more at stake here than just who's in power or who wins an election, or if our government becomes part of a global governance, or if the dollar collapses, or if you lose or retain your right to own a firearm, or anything like that. It's really more than that. We are in a battle of the hearts and minds of the people around us. That is what is at stake. And we are seeing more and more each day what we consider good and what has always been considered good and what is good being attacked and being questioned and being looked upon as if it is some foreign, grotesque thing. And before we even consider combating all the things that are around us, before we consider taking a stand for our rights and our freedoms and for this country and for our sovereignty and all these sort of things that are good things to take stands for. I believe that at first we have two obligations. We have to take a stand for our spirituality, for our souls, take a stand for our Creator and His Word, and then we also need to take a stand for goodness, for good things, for good people, for integrity, for honor, for moral character. And we have to teach that to our children in our homes. I heard it once said that the greatest and fastest way to change the world is to change how we raise our children. And if you go back over just the last few decades, the last couple of generations, you can see as how we as a people, as a nation, have changed the standards of how we raise our children, changed the standards of what is allowed to be shown and to be taught to a child, what a child is allowed to experience or not. We've changed the ways that we teach them, and that we even teach them right from wrong. We've accepted this idea through tolerance that, right and wrong are just relative terms, that it's all in how you feel, what you decide for yourself, and that you can change what is right and wrong based on your opinion. We stopped teaching, at least in mass and in bulk and in across the nation, in our schools, in our homes, and even in our churches. We stopped teaching our children that there is definite right and wrong. There is a thing that we should aspire to be, and that is to be a good person, a person of good character, a person that is honorable and that has integrity and that is honest and that is trustworthy and that is loyal and that it seeks to do good things, not just seeks to satisfy your own wants and desires. I believe in my heart that everything that we are seeing happen in the world today is a consequence for the lack of raising up generations of people like that. I mean, there's always evil. Bad people, they're always with us. They always have been from the beginning, and they'll be with us till the end. So you're never going to get away from having evil and bad people while we're here on this earth. But what has changed is the lack of good people and the lack of people that have spine, that have grit, and that's willing to stand up against the popularity, against what's considered, politically correct, against standing up against, this idea that we can't offend anyone or that every little thing offends people. And taking a stand and saying, no, it doesn't matter if this offends you. It doesn't matter if this hurts your feelings. It doesn't matter if you don't like this or not. The fact is, this is right and this is wrong. And we've lost that as a people. I know many of you still raise your families that way, and I commend you. And so, I understand that not everyone in America is that way. We try here to teach our children these very important things so that someday that they will grow up and to be good people. Unfortunately, we've become a very small minority in this world, and there's very few warriors left. And a warrior can be a man or a woman, that warrior mindset. There's very few people left in this country that are willing to stand up against evil and against wrong things and call it like it is. We've allowed ourselves to be beat back for too long with words like political correctness or tolerance or acceptance, that we have to accept all these things and all these ideals regardless of whether you think they're right or wrong. We have to accept them into our society. And now we're seeing the results of that. We're seeing more and more evil people in control, to where now it's hard to find anyone that seems to be good that is running anything in this country. So the main point today is, Yes, it's good to prepare. We talk about that. We talk about the things that you need to stock up on. We talk about the skills that you need to have. We talk about how the best way to be prepared as a family and as a farm and as a homestead and as a group is to be as self-sufficient as possible because of the not just the evil and the things that we are facing currently, but the things that we will most likely be facing in the future, in the near future and probably into the distant future are also. Um, Things on the horizon don't look so good. I don't want to sound like a doomsdayer. I'm not saying that the sky is falling. I'm just saying that if you just look at the facts, look at what is out there, look at what is happening, look at where that has led us in the past, it's pretty easy for the average person that's open-minded enough to look at these things and say, we are not headed down a good path right now. It doesn't mean it's the end. It just means currently we are headed down a path that most likely will lead to more destruction, more heartache, and more evil. And I believe in my heart the only way to stop this is at first, more and more people need to stand up and say, enough is enough. We're done with this tolerance and acceptance and this political correctness. We're done with this, and we stand for moral character. We stand for integrity. We stand for these things, these good things that we have always known as a people are good. And we have sat on the sidelines too long. We have become too soft, too complacent. We have accepted the fact that we are a minority, and as a minority, there's no way we can win, so let's just cower down and allow this progressive majority to just stomp all over us because they're the squeakiest wheel, and they're the ones getting greased, and they're the ones getting their way. So those of us that, still have this idea that we should be a good people and that we should seek right and wrong, and that there's a difference between right and wrong, and that we should teach right and wrong to our children. There's still enough of us around that we can make a change if we stand up and if we realize that that we can no longer sit on the sidelines. We can no longer just allow the loudest voices to be heard. I'm not telling people to go out there and take up arms and fight for these things. Because if we don't fight for them in our home first, we're never going to win them on the battlefield. We have to establish these things in our hearts, establish a warrior mindset in our minds, teach it to our children, develop it in our communities. If we do that, then there is a chance that we can change this world. I still, maybe I'm idealistic, but I still believe that we in this world, or live in a world that righteousness will prevail and that it will exalt a nation. And if we can start at the most local level, and that's within our own hearts, and then within our own families, and then within our churches or our communities, it can spread. We've given up for far too long. We've lost the fight because we've given up the fight. And it's time that we change and go back to who we once were as a people. It's time to rekindle the warriors within us, to realize and to believe and to teach that there is right and wrong, and that those two things aren't the same. That there is such a thing as morality, and that we should aspire to be a moral people. There is a thing as honor and integrity and honesty. and that we should aspire to those things also. If you go back in history and you look at warriors in the past, they weren't all just about being a good fighter. I mean, that certainly was some of it. If you go back and you look at Native American warriors, if you look at samurai warriors, if you look at the different places in history where warriors were looked upon. And I understand some of these people were maybe pagans or they may have done bad things. But there was also taught amongst these subsets of society, these warrior societies, that there should be integrity. Uh, many of the Native American tribes, Hollywood kind of teaches us one thing about warriors of the Native Americans, but the reality is a little different. Most of them, they didn't just go out and fight in wars. They also protected their tribe and they served their tribe and they ensured that their tribe had what it needed to survive. Many of them, they wouldn't eat until the tribe ate. This is part of that integrity, giving to others, of understanding that to be a real man or even a real woman is not to search and seek selfish things. We have to be self-sacrificing. In the Bible, we are taught to be Christ-like or to be like Yeshua. And one of the things that he was an example of is a servant's heart. And I remember my mother, my whole childhood, she always told me to have a servant's heart, to seek a servant's heart. And yet we look around us today and we don't see very many people that truly have a servant's heart. And I believe that's what a warrior is. I mean, a warrior can be big, bad, and tough and could be well skilled in the arts of war. But in the end, a warrior is a servant and has to have a servant's heart. He serves his people by protecting them. He serves his people by standing up for what is right. He serves his people by teaching the ones coming after him right and wrong and how to be a good person. And so we have to start doing this, because if we cannot win this battle against evil in our own hearts and in our own homes, how do we expect to win it in the world around us? How do we expect to take down the New World Order or this evil cabal or the evil Hollywood or anything like that if we cannot defeat evil in our own hearts and minds and in our own homes? So again, I'm preaching to myself more than I am anyone else. To teach yourself and to establish goodness in your heart and your mind, to seek righteousness, and to teach that to your children, and to carry that on in your communities, in your churches, with your neighbors, at work, wherever it is. Be a light in this world, because we are in a world filled with darkness right now. And if enough of us shine the light of righteousness, then I believe we do have a chance to prevail against it. This battle that we are in for freedom, this battle against evil, this battle against globalism, all of these things, it's not going to be won just in a physical way. It's really going to be won by being a spiritual light in this world. So we have to get our hearts right. We have to get our houses in order. And if we don't do that, then I'm afraid we have lost. So along with all of your prepping, along with all of your gear, along with all of your skills and everything that you are doing to become more self-sufficient and more prepared, remember to prepare your heart and your mind. Remember to train your heart and mind. Remember to seek these good things and to teach it to our children, to make it take a stand in our home for righteousness. Because in the end, That's the only way to triumph against evil. All right, folks. Thank you all for watching. I'll catch you in the next video.